Sweet in the morning, oh Lord, it's sweet in the morning. This is an interview with Reverend Clyde Jones for the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute's Oral History Project. I'm Dr. Horace Huntley with Miles College, June 1st, 1995. Thank you, Reverend Jones, for coming out and being with us today.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I just want to start by asking you some general questions about your parents. Where were your parents from?
My parents was from Hokenville, Georgia, my father rather, and my mother was from a place called Lutherville, Georgia.
Lutherville, and what was the other?
Hokenville, Georgia.
Okay. Were you born in Birmingham?
Yes, I was born here in Birmingham at the old Hillman Hospital, which is now the University Hospital.
Okay. How many brothers and sisters do you have, older and younger?
I have one sister, two sisters rather younger than I am.
Mm-hmm. So you're the oldest child?
I'm the oldest child,
okay.
Yes.
Tell me about your parents' education.
Well, at the time they had limited education. My mother, she was a high school graduate, and my father, he attended 1 year at Morris Brown in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. What were their occupations?
Well, my father, he was a shipping clerk, and my mother, she was a restaurant owner.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she owned the restaurant?
She owned the restaurant.
Where was your restaurant located?
It was located in predominantly black section of North Birmingham on 26th Avenue.
Okay.
And about, I think by 24th Street, I believe it was.
I see. Tell me about your education. Where did you start elementary school?
I attended Lincoln Elementary School, and I attended Park High School, and also Immaculata High School. And I had 3 years at Howard University, and I also attended Emory School of Divinity, which is in Atlanta.
You attended both Parker and Immaculata.
That is correct.
Where did you graduate from?
Immaculata High School.
Mm-hmm. Why did you leave Parker to go to Immaculata?
Well, at the time, it was the education system at Immaculata was a little bit better than Parker because we had a chance to more or less, learn, things like Latin and several foreign languages as opposed to Parker, which only had Spanish.
Mm-hmm. So you went for the languages. What did you do after high school?
Well, after high school, I went into the U.S. Coast Guard.
Mm-hmm. Tell me, let me back up just a bit. Can you describe what do you remember most about Parker as a student?
Well, I remember the football team. They had an excellent football team. Matter of fact, at that particular time, it was the top team in the state. And I also remember lots of the teachers, how concerned they was, about the students in a way. They had a good relationship, with the students.
Were you at Parker at the same time that Buck Buchanan was there, or were you just a little bit ahead of Buck?
I think I was a little bit ahead of his, and I had an opportunity to meet his parents. At a later date, they was member of Enon United Methodist Church, where I pastored both for his father and mother, but I never did get a chance to meet him per se.
How would you compare your experience at Parker versus that at Immaculata?
Well, it's more discipline at Immaculata, of course. At that time, they had discipline at Parker, too, because they had the paddling system. And
who was the principal at
Johnson.
So you had the same kind of discipline at both places at the time.
Right, but on a difference, at Immaculata, they would, expel you, and they would more or less put the fear the word of God into you, because it's more or less, religiously indoctrinated, since it was a religious school.
Right. Well, did you then, after you graduated from Immaculata, did you go right into the military?
I went right into the Coast Guard.
Into the Coast Guard. How did you happen to have gone in the Coast Guard?
Well, the time said at that particular time it was real hard, and I thought there would be a way out to get education in view of the fact that they had this GI Bill of Right, where it is, you enter the service, you could almost get a complete college education and beyond if you went into the service. So it was a way out for me at that particular time because with the economical status, of my parents, I had the opportunity, probably to go to college.
Well, why the Coast Guard rather than the Army or the Navy?
Well, the Coast Guard is a part of the armed service during the war, and as a matter of fact, it stayed during peacetime. It's under the Treasury Department, but I had opportunity to serve aboard the USS John Gordon, which I made about 8 trips across the Atlantic and back, bringing troops and carrying troops back and forth. And I also had opportunity to serve on a patrol Coast Guard boat, down in the Caribbean and other places.
So did you get that opportunity based upon your experience in high school? Did somebody direct you to the Coast Guard?
No, myself and another friend, and we was walking down Fifth Avenue. At that time, the Coast Guard station was in the Federal Post Office building, and we saw this sign, "We want you." And I was teasing with my buddy. I said, "This us. Let's go in and see about it." So we went in, and of course, really, you're supposed to have been 18, but I persuaded them, my parents, to sign for me, to go in, and which they, reluctantly did, but we went on in anyway.
And so how long did you spend in the Coast Guard?
We spent about 3 years.
3 years. Then what did you do after you was discharged?
Well, went on, I didn't, as I said, I wanted to go to college, but I came about in a kind of peculiar type way. I met this girl, she was attending Howard, and she enticed me to come to Howard, in Washington.
So was that the girl that you married eventually?
No, eventually everything went to a breakdown after I got there. We stayed friends for about 6-7 months, and then after that, the garden was so beautiful I couldn't see for looking.
So you were there for 3 years.
3
What
years.
what was you pursuing? What was the area?
Well, I was majoring in political science, and I had a minor, in psychology.
And what was D.C. like?
Well, D.C., it was calm at that particular time. You didn't have all these different drug warfare like you have now, and it was relatively calm. It was peaceful. You could walk down Georgia Avenue, and without any type of fear of being mugged or robbed, and it was a beautiful place at that time to live.
Did you live on campus?
I lived on campus in Cook Hall.
And after you left Howard, where did you go?
I went to New York. There I got involved in in the National Guard there, and also went to had 1 year law school at New York School of Law too.
So then, how long were you in New York?
I was there about just a little over a year. Just a little over a year till the Korean War broke out, and I went to Korea.
Oh, you joined Did you go back into the Coast Guard?
I didn't go back to Coast Guard. I went in the Army.
Went back to the Army. And how long were you in the Army this time?
Well, I stayed in there approximately about 4 years.
So then you, this is probably what, when did you come out of?
It was actually some date. I came out in, let's see, 53. They were somewhere around the neighborhood of 56 or 57.
So did you return to Birmingham?
I did,
Now you went to Emory. Right.
Yeah, that was at a much later date. That was in the 70s,
I see.
when I went to
So what did you do when you came back to Birmingham then?
Well, I had various, jobs. I did substitute teaching, and I worked as shipping clerk, where my father worked at. And in the meantime, I had got married and had, a family, to support.
Right. So you really returned to Birmingham at a time when the NAACP is probably the most active organization, civil rights organization.
That is correct.
Were you involved with them at all?
Yes, I have always been a member of the NAACP, and when the Southern Christian movement came out, I came involved with them through Reverend Shuttleworth.
Right. Your activity, what did you actually do as a result of your membership with the NAACP, or were you just a card?
Well, the NAACP, they was active in a sense. They was more or less involved in legal allegations at the particular time. It wasn't like marches, per se, until the Southern.
What about voter registration?
Voter registration, that was a prime factor. That's one of the main problems we had at a particular time. Black folk were denied the right to vote, and they had to take a oral examination, and then they had them paying poll taxes and different other things to discourage them from voting. And so the main thrust of the NAACP was no voter registration.
In 1956, the state of Alabama outlawed the NAACP from operating in the state of Alabama.
Yeah, that is correct.
Were you actively involved at that time? And
yes,
as a result of that, then the Alabama Christian Movement for Human Rights was organized.
Right. I still was involved.
Were you one of the charter members of the organization of the Alabama Christian Movement?
Well, I wouldn't say a charter member, but I one of the first, in the particular group that really, signed up, for the movement.
That got the movement going.
Yeah, I remember.
Yes, go ahead.
I remember the day I was over to Reverend Shuttleworth's office where he passed over in North Birmingham. And I don't think he had met, Dr. Martin Luther King at that particular time. He said, see, I got a letter here from Dr. King, about, the groups, move in. It was two separate groups, actually, with the Montgomery faction and the Birmingham faction, and about them merging, with each other.
Yeah, the MIA from Montgomery and the Alabama Christian Movement, and then eventually started the SCLC in 57, right? Yes. You were one of the litigants in a case against the police department here.
That is correct.
Can you sort of explain what that was about?
Well, what happened, it was planned that I met with Reverend Shuttleworth and Reverend Gardner and I think Reverend Alford and several more ministers at that particular time. And we had set up a time, go to the Jefferson County Personnel Board to apply for the police department. We had, agreed that we would go through with it. And we went, and I'll never forget, it was kind of hot. I forgot what month it was in, but anyway, it was kind of relatively hot at the particular time, so we went there, and so it was TV people there, Channel 13, I believe, and Channel 6, and so they gave us the application, to fill out. And so we taken the application back home and filled it out and sent it back in. And then I received a letter from the Jefferson County Board of Education. Not Jefferson County Personnel Board. That we wasn't qualified. Both Johnson and myself did, and.
Who was the other person?
George Johnson, Reverend Johnson, that we wasn't qualified. And so I began to wonder, I said, I looked at my expertise, within the police field. I had been in charge of the investigation section of the military, 212 military police in Incheon, Korea at the age of about 22. And also served with the 519th Military Police Group when they integrated, that particular, unit. And I was in the first CID, Criminal Investigation Division, down at Fort Gordon, Georgia. And I said, there's something got to be wrong. Then I saw lesser white persons, you know what I mean, was on duty with little or no education. And so I knew then was something wrong somewhere.
Did you make the determination that you wanted to be a member of the police department, or were you drafted by Shuttlesworth in the movement?
Well, we discussed it. They were gonna make a test. They're gonna be a test case. Anyways, to be frank about it. See, about getting them, because all the other surrounding cities had. And while on that particular note, I had already passed the test in Montgomery, police test in Montgomery, and I had passed it with a high score, about 99 out of 100. And also I had passed the test for the Washington Police Department, Washington, D.C. Police Department, and I also made 99.
But you decided not to take it?
Yeah, I decided I was doing it more or less, to make a thrust, and what's into it. To test the system.
Okay. Why would you take it in Montgomery? Did you live in Montgomery?
No, what I done more or less out of self-certification, to see what it was about, to test my knowledge.
Was this prior to your taking it in Birmingham?
Well, that is correct, Because I remember the captain, Gant, I believe there in Montgomery, he told me, he said, well, we want you to stay on with us if you decide to, come aboard. I said, well, I don't know, they're going to start hiring them in Birmingham pretty soon. And at that particular time, it was so many loopholes in the Montgomery Police Department. They had the blacks working at night, like from 11 at night to 7 in the morning. And they could only arrest blacks, and they could hold a white person until a white officer arrived, but you could see a white person committing a felony crime, you just couldn't go over and apprehend him regardless of what he was doing under that type of system.
You would simply have to wait until a white officer
arrived.
That
is correct. And like one of my friends told me that, got on, said that one night some white guy, they robbed a service station, and they parked on the other side. And so the only thing they could do is stand and look at that tab, and they got away, and they radio in, Lieutenant came in there and said, what do y'all do? They stand there and look. See, that's the only thing we could do. We couldn't arrest them. They was white, and that was our instructions.
But there were black policemen that just didn't have the authority of
the police right. Then they had them going in at, late hours, midnight hours to, almost early morning, and that was it.
So as a result of your having made very high marks in both Washington, D.C. and Montgomery, you decided then to take the test in Birmingham. And you wanted the job in Birmingham.
Right.
But you received a letter saying that you were not qualified.
Right.
Then what happened?
Then we had our attorneys, which was Isaiah Bensley and Lawyer Adams, who were formerly, member of the Alabama Supreme Court.
Oscar Adams.
And they pursued the case, to the federal system, because we knew we could win, in state courts at the particular time, because they were highly, prejudiced.
Well, what was the outcome?
Well, they ruled later on in favor that, City of Birmingham, must hire black police officers.
Now, you initially filed the suit about 1956. The first black policeman was not hired in Birmingham until probably 1966. Nearly 10 years.
You're right.
And was that as a result of the suit? Did the suit take that long to get?
Right, because they kept fighting it back and forth till finally we got a favorable decision after all that time. And in the meantime, the different officers, high-ranking officers in the police department, they want me to come in, something like undercover agent, an investigator and everything. So I told them I wasn't for that. In other words, And I told him, the matter of fact, I told him they ain't nothing but a high-class snitch. Either I be in uniform or they forget it.
Oh, so they did offer you to
Oh,
come
yeah.
in as a,
Yeah.
what was termed a snitch. I know in the black community, they
Right.
looked at those
Yeah.
individuals
Yeah.
as snitches.
Right, uh-huh. It
But
was-
you refused that. You didn't
Right,
want that.
uh-huh. And he told me, well, you have a badge, you know, you have a power arrest, you know, own the keys that you own. I said, no. I said, no, I'm not that kind of person. I'm either on board or not, you know.
You have any idea how many black men were, in fact, those kind of investigators?
It was quite a number of them. It was quite a
I
number.
know as I grew up here in Birmingham, there was one that worked out in our area.
You're right, it is right. There's a lot of some of the work, you know. Some of them had jobs like, you know, security officers, and some of them had jobs, regular job, but still in the off-duty time they would infiltrate, you know, the bootleggers' houses and things like that, you know, and pass on information.
Were you ever hired as a police officer? Did you ever get the job?
Well, really, I guess the good Lord must be in the plan, because I got something better later on, because I got on with, I served as chaplain with the Jackson County Sheriff Department, and I served as the police chaplain of the Bessemer Police Department, and I served as associate police chaplain of the Birmingham Police Department for 3 years. And now I'm currently the chaplain for the Randolph County Sheriff Department.
But in 1956, when the first policemen were hired, were you still available to take the position at that point?
No, I began to start pursuing the ministerial course. You know, it seemed like, you know, within myself I had that particular, you know, calling deep down, but I was trying to fight it, you know.
So you were going into the ministry
Right
at the
on.
time.
I was going and I thought about going back to, you know, law school, you know, going back to Washington, go to law school. And so I was kind of debating, you know, in my mind, you know, fighting within myself, you know, what course I must take. But whereas I didn't become a lawyer, I had my son, he became one.
Right. Clyde Jones Jr.
Right.
Yes. Did you get involved in the movement as a result of your attempt to become a police officer?
No, I really was in it even before my attempt, you know, to become a police officer, because I had, you know, seen the way that blacks were being treated. I remember one time I had a job too as a bondsman over here at the city jail with the Harlem Bond Company, and myself, W. Williams Jr., who's attorney here there now. We ran this particular company. It was white owned, but we black, you know, more or less fronted at that particular time. And we would go to jail and say how black people were just beaten just for nothing. Anyways, I remember one time a black guy from, I think I'm now somewhere around Detroit or Cleveland, came in there and he searched me and he had some white girl pictures on him, and they almost like to beat him, you know, unmerciful.
So you and W. Williams ran this particular bonding company.
Right, that's it.
How long did you do that?
I did that, my memory served me correctly, it was about 2 years, 3 years, 2 years, about 2 years, something like that.
So did you have the bonding company during the movement period, during the demonstrations and all?
If my memory served me correctly, I was participating in it, because I remember I was working like, so we had shift like from 8 to 3, let me see, from 3 to 11, and I believe I took that 11 to 7 shift so I could participate in it.
Mm-hmm. What role did you play in the Alabama Christian movement?
Well, really, just only as a supporter, I would just attend the meetings and whatever, was playing it out, by the person, in charge, I would, participate in it.
So you did attend the mass
Yeah,
meetings.
I did, and we also was in the picket lines also, too.
Can you sort of describe what the typical mass meeting was like?
Well, it was very emotional, and it could only be held in a black church because that was the only place that was open to them at that particular time. And a person they had a chance, to speak, their mind, but not any kind of, reprisal, against them, as long as they were their own camp. And also that they was a plague, by the white police at a particular time. They were parked maybe about 2 or 3 blocks away from the church in a different direction, and they would stop, the participants, on some minor charge, say they was speeding, they didn't stop at a stop sign, there's lots of things like that to harass them, to discourage them from attending.
Mm-hmm. Were police officers present at the meetings?
Yeah, they would stand on the outside, and they would have their informers, and then they had, that's one of the things that we talked about earlier. They would have the informer who have a first-hand report within minutes after the meeting was over, and plus the fact the police themselves, the white establishment, they would be, just about have the churches surrounded, and so in order to help suppress some of that. The meeting would have at different churches. Sometimes it would be at 16th Street Church, St. Paul, Sardis Baptist, and they did a number of other churches, Fairfield First, and in order to help, put them on God, put the people on God, so to speak.
You said that you did picket some different places.
Oh yeah, well we picketed the bus station, the Greyhound bus station. We picketed, I believe it's Newberry's department store, and several other minor, incidents and things.
Were you ever arrested?
No, I never did get arrested.
In 1960, the sit-in demonstration started. Well, it actually initiated in North Carolina.
Right.
And of course, there were sit-ins eventually here. 61, the Freedom Riders came through.
Right.
What do you remember about that period?
Oh, yeah, I remember how they was beating brutally at the bus station. What happened, the owner...
Go ahead.
Okay. On the law enforcement that blacks really trusted in at a particular time was, the FBI, and they would tell the FBI, so it's some Freedom Riders, coming in from North Carolina, and they would tell the city police, and city police would be at the bus station to meet them, and there would be ruckus, where those civil rights riders would be beaten and molested, in a very cruel type way.
Did others in your family participate in the demonstrations?
Well, they didn't participate actively because most of them, they had this fear, of losing their jobs in that particular time. And but I always been a type of person, that I said, well, what happened is gonna happen, and we can't live like this forever in this type of environment. So I didn't mind, even to my life at that particular time, I would sacrifice it.
How did others in your family react to your participation?
Well, they were more or less fearful of me that I might get hurt, and then they were glad I was doing what I was doing, but there was some kind of little remorse about, or the fear of getting hurt.
What church were you a member of at the time?
I was a member of St. Paul United Methodist Church on 15th Street in about 6th Avenue.
And was your church actively involved?
Well, I think of one or two meetings was held there, and somewhere they got to fear that the church was going to be bombed. That was prior to 16th Street, church getting bombed. And I think they kind of voted, within themselves, not to have no more meetings there.
What were the benefits do you think your family, the community realized as a result of the movement?
Let's see, what benefits as results of the movement?
Yes, sir.
Well, the only thing I could see would be motivation, in other words, and encourage them that it's gonna be a better day, if I'm focusing on your question, right, it'll be a better day by them participating in those different boycotts and picking it and et cetera.
Right. Is there anything else you'd like to add that we've not dealt with in relationship to the development of the movement and the history of Birmingham?
Well, I like to add, I wish, as I look around today, see how blacks is killing up each other, and if they could see the long struggle, I use this word, it was purity hell back in those days because a black man, he was last to be hired and first one to be fired. And then he had, when he go in an apartment store, he had a separate water fountain to drink out of. Then sometimes he had no restroom. If it did, it was they call bisex, restroom, and which was pizzets. And also when he rode on the train, he had to sit, separate segregated cars. He rode the bus, he had to sit in the back of the bus. And you go to a county to get something to eat, you had to stand there at the end of the county and almost plead to get a sandwich or a Coke. And after all the whites had been waited on, then they would get around to waiting on you. And then police could arrest a person at random. In other words, a black person would be brought into, sent to prison, whereas a white person wouldn't even be brought into question on. And so it was just really in the court system. It was, it was riding too. Matter of fact, I remember when one lawyer friend of mine, he attended Howard too because he was in law school. I was an undergrad. But they couldn't even go to sit in the bar. They couldn't even use the law library, for research work. They had a case, like, the whites did. And so it was just purity hell at a particular time. Anyway, some people called it was good old days, but I don't see nothing good about it.
So the movement then, of course, was developed to clear up all of these things.
Right, to be the force, behind blacks, having a better day because they were living in turmoil, and plus when you ride the streetcars, I like to add if we got time. I remember we'll forget one time, the kind of comical. I would guess I must have been around about 11 or 12, about 12, 13, and they had these old yellow streetcars used to run, like from downtown to Inslee, and so I didn't believe in those signs. So myself and another fellow friend, we take one of those segregated signs off and throwed it out the window. And so the conductor saw us, and they put us off the streetcar, which we in East Thomas. It was a hot day too, so we had to walk all the way from East Thomas to Smithfield. So I said, well, we're going to have to get him some kind of way. And so I remember my dad bought me one of these Red Ryder BB guns. And so we put some rocks on the streetcar tracks. And so we knew by the time this conductor come around, because the streetcar ran in front of my house. So we got over the bend over and we let loose with that BB gun on me, cussed and everything. But, black folk always had a way, doing something or letting, the whites know they resented the way they were being treated at that particular time.
Reaction against the system of
right.
segregation.
They had, even during slavery time, they had, some ways to get around it.
Well, I certainly appreciate your taking the time out of your schedule.
Well, you're welcome.
To come up and sit with us, and we'll get you a copy of this and let you look through it and have you to redo it for us.
All right then.
Appreciate
it. All right.
Okay.
Sweet in the morning, oh,